When I wake up each morning trying to find myself, and if I'm ever the least unsure, I always remind myself.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the second build of my TU-8900. I built this amplifier once a few months back. I will put the link in the description below. It was quite nice sounding amplifiers. It can use 300B or 2A3 tubes, right? And the amplifier will switch the voltage for the high voltage and the filament automatically. And I feel like I would like to rebuild the amplifiers. I purchased another one and I plan to use the better components. And let's review the schematic first here. This is the power supply schematic, which is nothing so unusual, right? Except that, okay, this is the transformers, right? It has the high voltage and the low voltage filament windings, and then follow with the bridge rectifiers across, and after that the filtering capacitors, and then they're going into the specific kind of a circuit, right? So all the high voltage and the filament will go to the circuit because the specific controllers will decide or detect whether the tube actually 300B or 2A3, right? And then arrange the voltage accordingly. We can see as well, right? The filament, the high voltage itself has two separate windings. I believe 300B will be higher voltage compared to the 2A3, right? And this is just the LED indicators, right? Triggered by the microcontrollers to light the correct colors of the LED. It's gonna be like green for, I forgot, green for 2A3, I think, and blue for 300B. I forgot, right? It's been like quite a while. And nothing really unusual for this, but this bridge rectifiers will be upgraded completely, also the filtering capacitors. And then this is the signal diagram. Again, I don't really feel something really unusual here or really unique, right? They're using the 12AU 7 input tube, right? You can also use the ECC82 and a lot of other variants. And then there are some kind of just the resistors they put in series, right? Followed by the bypass capacitors. I'll be using the one big resistors anyway to minimize the space, right? Because upgrading those components with a bigger one kind of very space consuming. And the 300B itself or 2A3 will be bypassed by the 3 capacitor as well. So I'm probably going to be upgrading this cathode resistor as well. And yeah, I think this is probably it. And this one is, I think, quite unique because there's some like a feedback, right, from the cathode to back to the grid. I think this one is kind of old schematic from Western electric amplifiers, and some people said that it might be giving a bit low frequency. After that, this is the output transformers. Again, nothing so unusual. If I remember correctly, they're putting about 3.1K windings, right, for the output transformers. And then the option of using 4 ohms and 8 ohms kind of speakers, right? For you who will be using the headphones, you have the option, and the plug here. Simply they are using some resistors to divide the voltage. That's what we see from the signal block. Quite clear, quite simple, but so far it sounds pretty well in the first amp I built with the standard components. What next for the components? We might be experiencing some component upgrades here as well. Let me see here what we have. We have some Recon resistors here. It's quite of my favorite long time back. The one with the golden leads. right? And yeah, this is quite interesting, quite good sounding resistor is one of my preference. We have some OCC copper wire as well for some of the wiring upgrades. This is one of the wires, the Dulun wires, right? This is also will be used for certain position of the upgrades. And Synco resistors. I believe some of you should recognize these vintage resistors, quite magical in focals, will be used as well for this project. And some others, again, not so new, I think, the Kaisei capacitors. One of my favorite since Black Gate actually no more, but I have some of Black Gates will be used as well for this project. But again, this is gonna be one of the alternate option, right? Most of this will be configured in like a back-to-back, not back-to-back, but like a Super A Black Gate combination, non-polar wiring in parallel. The idea is to cancel the inductance. So this is going to be one of it. What else do we have? Oh, we also have some Mundov tube cap. This also will be used in some of the high voltage filtering. And few more Kaisei. Some others, I think for filaments, there will be some TKD, Mundov as well here. And then, yeah, there's going to be a TKD resistors and some other Synco resistor here. Yeah, what else? What else do we have here? Some, again, some Mundov capacitors. I believe this one for filament. And this one is an audio note resistor. I'm using this for some location that I could not find Synco tantalum. So that's be it. Oh, we have my Black Gate as well. This is quite a fancy Black Gate NX 470 16 volt. It's quite expensive, rare to get. I have few from my other project, which is a short wire one, but no problem. I'm pretty sure this will be a perfect fit in a certain position. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Some other Synco. Oh, yeah. Also, there are some Texas Instrument VC TX-2575. This will be used as well on a certain location. What else do we have? Okay, that is all. We have a AM RG. I don't know where did I. Oh, where will be the position for this, right? But I remember I've purchased it quite some time back, and it should fit in some of the position in this project. Okay, I think that pretty much the high-level view of this project. Right, this the first box. Second one, you can see similar kind of item, but this one is quite unique. I believe this is the audio note silver resistors. It is damn expensive resistors, right? And yeah, it will be in one of the key position of the project. Another VC. And a big bunch of Synco resistor, tantalum as well. It's gonna be for the cathode, and I'll be using maybe more than 50 or 60 Synco per channel. It will give like, I don't know, sorry, no, about 30 to 40 Synco per channel, 2 watts resistors. So it will give me like 70, 80 watts of power rating, because cathode is very kind of hot, right? So we'll see. Perhaps it's going to be the first 300B with all tantalum's cathode resistors. The L's, yeah, this is also a bunch of the Synco tantalum. This is for the cathode. This is the tube socket. We'll be using Yamamoto tube socket. This is Teflon socket. Very nice, very beautifully crafted. And then what else? Oh, for some specific location, I believe this is gonna be for the cathode feedback to grid. I'll be using this classic Solan tinfoil resistor. Don't tell me why, right? But in some of the experiment, I think this is gonna be a perfect fit. But let's see if my experiment was right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the upgrades. I forgot which one as well. This very huge Mundov, right? 8.2, wow, huge capacitors. I forgot where to put these things, but perhaps I thought somewhere when I think about this project and where to put all of this. Yeah, that's pretty much all for the upgrades. Last but not least, we'll be seeing as well for the power transformers, output transformers, and the coupling capacitors. So let's see. Let's continue after this. Last but not least, there will be a few more items used for this project. Again, most of them are my favorite. My old favorite, you can see here, is the ESC oil capacitors, 40 microfarads, 404 volt AC. This is one of big capacitors and quite famous long time back for cathode bypass purpose. So it will be the same in this case for my 300B and 2A3 amplifiers. And guess what? The bypass will be combined with the new technology. This one is a Dulun coherent audio bypass capacitors. This is the silver kind of capacitors. And you can see here it's quite small size, only 0.01 microfarads, pure silver foil capacitors. And this will work together with the ESC to support the cathode bypass purpose. And of course, the stars of the upgrade will be the output transformers and the power transformers. But before we go there, let's pick another component upgrades. You can see here, this is the Dulun capacitors for coupling. This is the VSF CAS 630 volts capacitors, mooncake design, I call it. Special custom orders from Dulun. And it's a pure silver VSF foil, 0.47 microfarad. This is definitely more expensive than the standard silver capacitors. And at the same time, I've been using this capacitor, this kind of capacitor, the mooncake, more than 10 years ago, and I'm quite happy with the sound. So I keep like order such custom-made capacitors for my personal DIY project. And this lead out itself, actually the Dulun 3.0. This is also a very thick silver in silk insulation. Very thick, very big kind of silver cable, silver foil wire, and the insulation itself, the jacket itself is made from silk. Very nice sounding wire so far, I believe. And I use the 2.0 version long time ago. This is gonna be my first time using the 3.0 version. The different, definitely the size, right? This kind of like 12 AWG size. So basically this is one of the star of the upgrade. Last but not least, the star of the project is the output transformers and the power transformers. We can see here, actually the output transformers is a silver transformer. Not sure if you can see this right, but let me try to focus them a bit. Okay, this is the silver transformers made by G&K Audio Design, level 3 plus special edition for 300B. The core itself made from nanocrystalline, or we also know or familiar with a fine mat from Hitachi, is a double C, while all the windings are made from the OCC silver wire, set at 3.2K primary impedance and 5 and 8 ohms option for the output. 35 watts at 30 Hz. Heavy transformers. And this one about 8.2 or 8.1 kilogram each. I only put one on the table because the other one is on the floor and it's definitely quite heavy. The second one, of course, we also need to upgrade the power transformer. Same manufacturer from G&K. We can see here is also level 3 ultra ISO power transformers. But this one, of course, for the power purpose, I'm not going to be ordering fine mat. I don't think it's also a right core as well. So it will be a high B C core, double C cores, and OCC copper wire. The spec is roughly about 200 volt amps. We are following the same spec from the original transformers from Elekit, but this one, of course, much more weight, right, with a bigger spec in terms of the supply, the spike current capability. And I think the original from the Elekit, they're using an R-core transformers, which is quite good, but this one is a double C core. It's a similar rating. I ordered same rating, but again, this quite a giant transformers, weight similar, about 8 kilogram plus. So I guess that would be the final components upgrade list. So let's wait for the building process. It's gonna be very exciting. Probably one of my final upgrade, final tube amplifiers, and very excited to hear the performance later. So stay tuned. It will take a while. I think it's going to be my holiday project, but really quite excited to see how it will sound at the end of the day. So I think that's all for this time. Thank you for watching and see you again. Bye bye. So some of you might be asking, what will be my tubes option? So I have few. First is well-known Softec tubes. Pretty much all of you familiar. These are 2A3 tubes. It's considered pretty much inexpensive tubes. And I feel this is kind of a basic tubes you can use. It's not expensive and it pretty much sounds quite okay. So yeah, this is gonna be one of my standard tubes for this project. And for 2A3, I also have another one. This one is from RCA. It's a vintage tube, I believe, from RCA. VT95. And yeah, I think for RCA you might not have so much complaint about the sound. It's, of course, it's an old, they said it's new, kind of an old stock, right? Although I kind of not so believer with that. You know, you cannot like expecting 40-50 years old tubes, still like new, although the getter, everything is considered very good cosmetically. Yeah. So aside from that, of course, for 300B option, you perhaps have seen my other video. The option is the Suguang, the Black Treasure series, which it is very nice sounding tubes, 300Bs. Cannot complain with that. Price a bit more expensive, but still reasonable price, I believe. Yeah, this is come with the tubes datasheet characteristic measurement 75 milliamps, and inside you can see the tube itself is quite interesting. White black, a bit tall bottle, right, with a gold pin. Interesting tube so far, sounds quite okay. Pretty much better than the standard 300B tubes I've used in the past, right? And with a good sounding, good price, you're gonna complain, right? But of course, the ultimate will be this Takatsuki TA300B tubes. I've made a video about this a few weeks back, and this is basically what it is, right? It's a very nice sounding Western Electric kind of tubes. 300B, beautifully made, beautifully crafted, beautifully built. Of course, the same, it will come with the custom datasheet as well. You can also see the serial numbers printed inside here. It's kind of small, I hope you can see it. Here it's printed, the serial numbers. And then, yeah, usual stuff in the manual book. We're expecting some datasheet measurement that also show a similar kind of information, right, about the measurement of the tube itself. Will come in the match pair spec and tested, right? And yeah, usual stuff. You'll be expecting some datasheet in here, and at the same time some small chart showing the curve of the tube. Basically beautiful tubes, nice sounding one, and pretty much this is at the Western Electric kind of level, but of course still made in Japan. Interesting. So basically that's all the tubes I'll be using. So hope you enjoyed the video, right? And see you again once I finish the project. Thank you, enjoy, bye bye.